Anybody here heard about Agenda 21? Well, some. You need to all know about it. It's a code phrase. It's the title of the program for collectivism, global collectivism, which was designed at the United Nations and is being implemented as we speak in every country of the world, at least where the UN has an interest in implementing it, in the more advanced nations. And it's being done under the guise of environmentalism. They're using the label of, let's be concerned about our planet Earth. Our planet Earth is being destroyed. We're losing our natural resources. Everything is going bad in the environment. We've got global warming. We've got all these things. We've got pollution.
Ladies and gentlemen, the battle against climate change is surely the most defining and pivotal challenge of our times. Even in a world full of daunting perils and crises, it is hard to imagine anything that poses a greater challenge and opportunity for humanity.
So therefore, what we need is more laws. Surprise. More laws, and especially at the international level, to regulate and control these things and take away the personal freedoms that you and I have over our own property, because we need to do it for the greater good of the greater number. We need to do it to save the world. And there's that argument, you know, the greater good of the greater number. To heck with your personal liberties and your freedoms. We're saving the world. That's all packaged under the heading of Agenda 21. If you don't know about it, learn about it quickly. And you need to be at every local town hall meeting, every county meeting. You've got to stand there and expose this Agenda 21 for exactly what it is, which is an assault against private property, and eventually it is the cutting edge of bringing the total collectivist package into all of the nations of the world, and it's being coordinated at the United Nations.
At its core, Agenda 21 is about control. Control over land, natural resources, and entire populations. It seeks to control the air by regulation of carbon emissions, the ground by sustainable development, and the sea through environmental regulations. Officially stated, Agenda 21 is a comprehensive plan of action to be taken globally, nationally, and locally by organizations of the United Nations system, governments, and major groups in every area in which human impacts on the environment. Because being human will always have an impact on the environment, Agenda 21 paves the way for extraordinary UN control. When you boil it down, there are 9 basic tenets of Agenda 21.
Move citizens off private land and into urban housing. Create vast wilderness spaces inhabited by large carnivores.
This is incredible. I can't believe my luck. Look. This is why the Carpathian forests, mountains and villages need to be preserved in all their untamed glory. Not just for the benefit of future generations, but to ensure the survival of Europe's most endangered carnivores.
Create vast wilderness spaces inhabited by large carnivores.
These large wilderness areas are linked with corridors, and this means that animals have space
and they
to
can move freely.
They can move freely.
Why is that so important?
It's vital. It is vital, especially for some of the species like the large carnivores that need large spaces to survive.
Presumably you get inbreeding.
Otherwise there will be inbreeding, otherwise the whole population will be disappearing, if you like,
Right.
because they need space to live.
Make policy decisions that favor the greater good over individuals.
They're very afraid about
Exactly,
it.
I know that, because I understand the history, I understand what happened with the collective farms, people's huge suspicion of that sort of
Exactly.
thing. And I know driving around Romania the last 16 years, you see all those, you know, the derelict and decaying collective farms. But, on the other hand, in order to, I think, ensure the survival of these very important small farmers and their communities and the young, in order to, you know, give them opportunities still in the rural areas, it is important to think about cooperating, producing enough volume.
Unii nu au fost colectivizat, a fost sat bogat. Unii au fost colectivizat sărăcii. Sărăcii.
Deci cum zici, Matale, că e mai bine?
Mai bine așa cum e.
Să aibă fiecare partea...
Cum mai bine? Ce seamene ea tu? Ce muncești ea tu? Nu a dracului.
Drastically reduce the use of power, water, and anything else that creates carbon pollution.
And lower carbon and less embodied energy, but also
Anything else that creates carbon pollution.
It does seem to me that one of the most vital aspects of all this is how you work with local communities, how to help ensure the survival, the future of the smallholder. This part of the world, you can't plough it up. And if you did, you'd release vast amounts of carbon, which is completely counterproductive.
Increase taxes, fees, and regulations.
Do you think it's possible for people living on the edges of the forest to have a sustainable livelihood from the forest itself?
Yes, I do. If you set in place a proper policy and proper rules and regulations that people who can work from crafts, from cultural tourism, agrotourism, etc., this is something that can definitely allow people to make a living out of their land.
Increase taxes, fees, and regulations.
We should have rules much more tougher, or
well, yes, because other countries do.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is it would be such a pity by the time that happens in Romania that you've lost so much, because then you've just got tiny little places left, and to make it worthwhile to have the right kind of ecotourism. And
finally, implement policies meant to incentivize a reduced population.
Ladies and gentlemen, the battle against climate change is surely the most defining and pivotal challenge of our times. Even in a world full of daunting perils and crises, it is hard to imagine anything that poses a greater challenge and opportunity for humanity.
The negative impact of population growth on all of our planetary ecosystems is becoming appallingly evident.
The science is unequivocally true, and that there is a price to carbon in their future.
What do you see as the biggest challenges in conservation?
The growing human population. Because if where we are, there's nothing else.
We have to start spending money, fast on the solutions that we have in hand to try and help these countries which are already seeing the effects of climate change today and seeing the effects of our consumption, basically.
David Rothschild, thank you so much for joining us here on Bloomberg.
Look, first we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, health care, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Every year, millions of imperfect babies are born, destined for a life of struggle and hardship. But it is the rest of us who pay the ultimate cost. Billions of dollars that could be used to better society are instead wasted on the malformed. There must be a better way, and there is. Agenda 21 is coming soon.
And finally, implement policies meant to incentivize a reduced population.
New World Order, Mr. Rothschild? Right. New World Order? Depopulation?
Oh, listen, who are you...
Genocide?
Who are you televising for?
Well, we're independent filmmakers. Okay. But you have nothing to say, Mr. Rothschild.
Have a nice life, sir.
On Bloomberg.
Deci am văzut punctul 9 din Agenda 21, sau mai bine zis, am văzut dragostea ce o poartă acești păpușari masoni pentru omul de rând. Trecem acum la Agenda 2030 pentru a discuta cele 17 puncte din această agendă plină de iubire, de dragoste și de pace. Sau mai bine, să spun pe românește, vorba aceea, drumul către iad e pavat cu bune intenții. Și dacă tot spuneam că România va implementa această agendă, nu îmi rămâne de făcut decât să intru pe site-ul Ministerului Afacerilor Externe, unde găsim Agenda 2030. Central agendei 2030 se regăsesc cele 17 obiective de dezvoltare durabilă, reunite informal și sub denumirea de obiective globale. Prin intermediul obiectivelor globale, se stabilește o agendă de acțiune ambițioasă pentru următorii 15 ani, în vederea eradicării sărăciei extreme, combaterii inegalităților și a justiției și protejării planetei până în anul 2030. Apoi încep cele 17 obiective din agenda și le luăm așa, punct cu punct. 5. Egalitate de gen. Realizarea egalității de gen și împuternicirea tuturor femeilor și a fetelor.
In Romania, we are fully committed to gender mainstreaming. By 2020, 70% of Romania's national and local public institutions will have experts and technicians in gender equality.
Let's buckle in, because it's going to be a bumpy ride, and then let's go back to Ohio and New York and Florida and California, and let's get to work!
La punctul acesta, masoneria lucrează de foarte mult timp, iar până în anul 2030, în toate țările vor fi legalizate toate nebuniile Sodomei. Iar după ce vor legaliza toate nebuniile astea, automat va începe o prigoană a creștinilor. 14. Viața acvatică. Conservarea și utilizarea durabilă a oceanelor, mărilor și a resurselor marine pentru o dezvoltare durabilă. Aici mi se pare destul de simplu. Mesajul este pescuitul interzis pentru omul de rând sau pentru micii întreprinzători.
While the Delta still has an abundant supply of fish, numbers are declining rapidly due to overfishing and systemic poaching. Today, 5 out of the 6 species native to this region are listed as critically endangered. Standing between them and extinction is the last line of defense, the people whose job it is to protect this fragile ecosystem.
This is Fiorel and Vasily. They're part of the Delta police team. Their job is to come out here at night and try to catch the poachers, which is not an easy task.
You know very well our country. You're the best tourist.
But I'm always being contact because I haven't been to the Danube yet, and I will try and get there one day. But
15. Viața terestră. Protejarea, restaurarea și promovarea utilizării durabile a ecosistemelor terestre, gestionarea durabilă a pădurilor, combaterea deșertificării, stoparea și repararea degradării solului și stoparea pierderilor de biodiversitate. Aici e la fel ca la punctul 14, și anume că ei vor pune stăpânire atât pe ape cât și pe întreg pământul.
Because forests in Romania should be a strategic development point in the whole of Romania. It's not something that can be used up, because once it's used up, it's gone. It could be the best brand Romania has. There's no choice. Either you do it or it's the end of everything. And it's absolutely vital to the future of Romania.
Now, having walked through parts of a few of Romania's forests, set in what I can only describe as some of the most remarkable landscapes I've ever seen, it is my earnest belief that more can be gained for Romania, and indeed the entire world, through the long-term sustainable management of these truly astonishing places.
Pe lângă această agendă, sigur mai au și alte agende secrete la care noi oamenii simpli nu avem acces. În concluzie, acest guvern mondial este anticristic, iar noi creștinii trebuie să fim tari și fermi în credința noastră ortodoxă. Acest guvern mondial este condus la rândul său de acești sataniști care îi pregătesc tronul lui Antichrist. Iar dacă au acest gen de agendă, asta înseamnă că diavolul este deja printre ei. Ei să fie sănătoși cu agendele lor. Noi creștinii nu avem nevoie de un lider pe pământ. Avem un împărat și acela se numește Iisus Hristos. La El să ne rugăm, pe El să-L urmăm și doar legile și învățăturile Lui să le împlinim. Doamne ajută și mântuire la toată lumea!
Ce seamene ea tu? Ce muncești ea tu? Nu a dracului.